This thesis aims to unravel the hard work and the various steps that lie behind dubbing. This work aims to make us think all the issues and objectives that come into the place in order to make a good movie. So, the first film was born in 1895 with the Lumiere brothers. The first movie had no sound and they were only accompanied by live music. But in 1927, the first film with sound was made, The Jazz Singer. With the advent of this phenomenon, most of mute actors such as Charlie Chaplin started to become unpopular because the way of acting was too excessive and ridiculous. So the era of silent films ended. Another problem began to rise. From the first projections, cinemas has raised concern due to the power of suggestion that is shown to have more than other types of mass media. In fact, various forms of film censorship still survive: preventive, retrospective, and in return censorship. Generally, when the film goes against morality and morals, administrative measures are taken. One of the biggest problems that arose with the birth of sound was the one of the communication language that had to be adopted. Everybody tried to find a solution that was suitable for their culture, such as dubbing in the Russian style, which is still used in the Eastern European countries. It consists of a voiceover that narrates the whole movie, explaining the dialogues to the public. Another solution that was adopted by most countries is subtitling, solution that Italy failed to catch on to because of the illiteracy problem that was present in fascist times. Mussolini, in fact, forbade the production of foreign films in order to keep the pride in using the Italian language. For this reason, in 1932, the first dubbing facility in Italy was born. Before arriving to dubbing room, a foreign product has a very long and difficult process behind it. First of all, the script with acting dialogue is first translated and then adapted according to the culture and the sensitivity of the country of destination, trying to respect the movement of the actor's lips. The dialogue writer's adaptator must then alter the translation just enough to reach a satisfactory synchronization. When the translation and the adaptation work is finished, the film is then divided, and after reviewing it with the help of an assistant, the dubbing director selects various voice actors, choosing the most suitable voice for each character in the film. And finally, the actual dubbing arrives, which takes place in a soundproof room with all necessary equipment. For what accents are concerned, I analyzed the character of The Simpsons, to which different regional accents were attributed to the character, differently from the original product. This cartoon is a satirical product on American culture. In the original language, only a few supporting characters have some diatonic varieties. On the contrary, the Italian version is rich in regionalism instead. Willie the janitor, for example, has a Scottish accent that is so prominent that the character wears a kilt many times during the show. In Italian, the accent used by this character is Sardinian because it is perceived as a tough guy accent that comes close to the Scottish one. Another interesting case is Homer's black friend, Carl. In English, he does not present any variety, but Italians are used to him in Venetian. This because when the show arrived in Italy in 1991, Northern League, that is against immigrants, was born. Another key example to highlight the difficulty of adapting a product from one language and culture to another is the sitcom from the 90s Friends. This comedy TV series tells the daily life of six friends who live in New York. It is a product that aims to make the public laugh as much as possible, although sometimes not always possible because of grammatical quirks. In the episode Joey's Handbag, for example, Joey tries a female handbag and talking to Rachel, misunderstandings are born. As we can see, the Hallosafe game focuses on the unisex word that, when talking fast, it echoes of you need sex, pronounced to Joey, who is known for his passionate love affairs. Rachel, in an attempt to explain the misunderstanding, spells the word, but the sound she does makes Joey fall into the sexual ambiguity again. Unisex, you and I sex, since he believed that her friend is making loving offerings. The translator was unable to recreate the same assonance, but he still tried to keep the allusion playing of the polysemon of the word sex. Besides from adopting the solution of language translation, the technique of film remaking is still, even if it rarely, used not so much because they lack in technology, but for a marketing strategy. A plot that is used in order to produce films that have already been released and therefore avoiding to invest large sums of money to produce film that may have an uncertain future. A perfect example to explain this type of production is the film Benvenuti al Sud, taken from the French film Bienvenue chez les Ch'tis. The structure of both films is based on the denial of stereotypes, such as in the Italian movie, the main character, when leaving for the south, is wearing a bulletproof vest, since he fears for his life, as opposed to the French character that wears a heavy jacket to emphasize the cold temperature that is present at the north of the country. The culture related to each film leads to a different way of doing comedy, and by carefully observing the points that stimulate more hilarity in the two films, it is evident that the entertainment element has been created from the misinterpretation regional stereotypes, represented by the incomprehensibility of the Ch'ti language for French population in Bienvenue chez les Ch'tis and by the incomprehensibility of Neapolitan dialect for Italians, respectively in Benvenuti al Sud. A good omen for the future could also be to think to recognize the role of the adaptator as a legally recognized profession, even because the translator and the adaptator are often grouped together under the same category when they are obviously two different professions, both essential for the success of a foreign film in the country of destination. In conclusion, let's hope that with time, censorship in movies and television series will be less influential and incisive in order to deal with issues considered taboo in other countries and to clear false ideologies and or consideration. Thank you.